They label me a monster. A calculating, merciless executive who crushes anyone blocking my path to success. But their opinions mean nothing to me. In this cutthroat world, particularly in the male-centric technology sector, weakness is not an option. Sentiment cannot cloud judgment. And above all else, compassion must be eliminated. I am Marcella Lawson, Chief Executive Officer of TechVantage, a multi-billion-dollar technology giant based in San Francisco's bustling financial hub. My success wasn't inherited or gifted. No privileged background, no seasoned advisors showing me the way. Every piece of this empire bears my fingerprints. I've mastered the art of victory, and I eliminate all obstacles without hesitation. The whispers of dictatorial leader or stone-hearted queen don't faze me. The feeble resent me because they crumble in the high-pressure environment I've engineered. Male colleagues despise me because I outmaneuver them, outthink them, and fearlessly dispose of those who become obsolete. Female peers loathe me because I represent what they can achieve, someone who plays by masculine rules but conquers on her own terms. The gossip mill never stops churning. Marcella is soulless. She views humans as mere resources. She has no concept of faithfulness. But here's the reality. Allegiance is meaningless in this arena. You either emerge victorious or fade into obscurity. And I exclusively associate with champions. From my executive suite atop a towering financial district skyscraper, I survey my domain below. A crystal glass of Cabernet rests nearby, its crimson contents catching the city's shimmer, resembling a dark pool of vital fluid. This sensation, observing the world from such heights, this is my natural habitat. My smartphone interrupts with a notification. Marjorie Thompson, HR Director, writes, "Everything's prepared for Kira Jennings' termination. Wednesday implementation confirmed." My lips curl upward. Perfect timing. Kira Jennings. A soon-to-be-forgotten name. Someone who's lingered too long without grasping corporate survival principles. She believes her years of service entitle her to deference. But reality differs. She's a mid-50s professional, inflexible, outdated, and crucially, misaligned with my vision. I've tolerated Kira's presence far beyond reasonable limits. She embodies that delusional type who considers themselves indispensable, convinced that TechVantage would collapse without their contribution. How utterly absurd. I've steered this company through countless storms, witnessed the arrival and departure of numerous employees, and our trajectory has only soared higher. I've dismissed individuals with far superior capabilities and intellect than Kira, yet TechVantage remained unshaken. She's merely an insignificant cog in the vast machinery of my empire. Taking a measured sip of wine, I activate the intercom, summoning Marjorie. The door opens smoothly, and she enters, clutching a folder with practiced professionalism. Has she detected anything unusual? I inquire, my attention seemingly fixed on my laptop screen, where revenue projections illuminate the dim surroundings. Not at all, Marjorie responds. Kira remains completely confident in her position. She's oblivious to the fact that we've been orchestrating her departure for the past quarter. I acknowledge this with a satisfied nod. True strategic brilliance demands meticulous contingency planning, and I perpetually maintain my advantage over others. Execute as discussed, I direct. Ensure this remains strictly professional. I won't tolerate any unnecessary complications. Confirming Wednesday for the termination? Marjorie seeks final approval. Correct. Let's conclude this efficiently. Marjorie exits silently, leaving me to my contemplations. Reclining in my chair, I study the revenue projections intently. Someone of my caliber never ceases strategizing. As one plan reaches completion, another is already in motion. Kira's removal is merely a minor component in my broader strategic vision. I harbor no animosity toward Kira. She simply holds no significance to me. Like everyone else in this organization, they matter only while they provide value. Once that value diminishes, they become mere statistics in a financial statement. An expenditure requiring elimination for optimal efficiency. Rising deliberately, I approach the expansive windows, observing San Francisco's streets below. Countless individuals hurry past, forever destined to remain beneath my elevated position. A familiar wave of satisfaction envelopes me. I am Marcella Lawson, perpetually victorious. What remained beyond my comprehension then was that within weeks, the very person I had discarded would orchestrate my descent from power. Throughout my extensive career, I've encountered every variety of employee: the driven, the timid, the bootlickers, and the naive. Kira Jennings epitomized the latter category. I had permitted her presence far too long. 15 years prior, when Kira was still a bright-eyed software engineer, I recruited her into TechVantage, recognizing her innate abilities. But raw talent alone isn't sufficient. This corporate landscape shows no mercy to those who excel only at their craft while remaining ignorant of power dynamics. And Kira? Despite her prowess in coding algorithms, she remained woefully unaware of the real-world mechanics. I distinctly recall a defining moment at a major tech conference in San Francisco 2 years ago. It marked the debut of AccountSphere, the revolutionary accounting software that catapulted TechVantage to industry leadership. Standing before a sea of investors, media representatives, and America's top corporate executives, I deliberately kept my reference to the development team concise. We had an outstanding team of engineers develop this algorithm, turning it into the groundbreaking technology we now own. I sensed Kira's penetrating stare from among the attendees. She had anticipated acknowledgement, expected her name to be highlighted. Such naivety was almost amusing. The reality? While she may have written the initial algorithm, it would have remained worthless code buried in her computer without my intervention. I transformed it into a marketable product. I generated billions in revenue. I built an empire. The true creator? Undoubtedly me. Following the conference, Kira's behavior shifted noticeably. Her communication became minimal, she avoided company social events, and our interactions were tainted with barely concealed bitterness. 12 months later, Kira requested an important discussion in my office. She sought recognition, company equity, and involvement in strategic planning. I remember responding with a subtle laugh and raised eyebrow. Kira, you're an employee. You work for the company, not the other way around. Her crestfallen expression was evident. Yet instead of accepting reality and aligning with my vision, she chose defiance. That moment crystallized my decision regarding her future. One particular aspect of Kira's personality consistently irked me: her unwavering principles. My philosophy has always been that true intelligence manifests in knowing when to compromise, when to stand firm, and when circumstances demand adaptation. But Kira? She remained inflexible, desperately clutching outdated moral standards, failing to comprehend that in this corporate arena, rules invariably yield to those wielding power. Consider the patent situation, for instance. 3 months ago, during a routine legal document review, I uncovered that TechVantage's data processing algorithm lacked patent protection. A minor administrative oversight, easily rectifiable through my legal department. But Kira? She elevated it to crisis proportions. The scene remains vivid, her standing in the meeting, voice laden with indignation. Marcella, have you considered the implications of not having secured ownership rights for this algorithm? This poses a significant liability. I met her gaze with a dismissive glance and a condescending smile. Then proceed with the patent filing. Why create such drama? But Kira persisted relentlessly. She immersed herself in historical records, investigating the root cause behind the patent's initial oversight. She initiated correspondence with the legal department, confronted the CFO directly, and most irritatingly, she began questioning my judgment. This wasn't demonstrating employee loyalty. This was manifesting as a liability. It became clear that Kira's continued presence at TechVantage could jeopardize operations. She had the potential to disrupt our carefully orchestrated system. I couldn't permit such interference. The resolution? Neutralize the threat before any resistance could materialize. I commenced strategic planning. Phase 1 involved gradually removing her from crucial initiatives. I directed executive management to systematically reduce her responsibilities, redistributing her workload to younger, more compliant staff members, individuals who understood their place. Kira noticed these changes, but maintained an illusion of job security. The fundamental error individuals like Kira commit is overestimating their indispensability. The subsequent phase? Constructing legitimate grounds for dismissal. I summoned Marjorie from Human Resources and issued my unequivocal instruction. Her tenure is irrelevant. Prepare termination documentation. Ensure it's airtight. Non-negotiable. Execute with precision. Marjorie complied without hesitation. I've mastered this corporate choreography. Kira Jennings presumed she could confront my authority. But my experience in organizational politics far exceeds hers. And within my domain, power never yields to principle. This Wednesday marks Kira's departure, while TechVantage continues its trajectory unimpeded. As for myself, I'll celebrate quietly, savoring the moment when an overconfident player realizes their role was merely peripheral in my strategic game. I consider employee termination an artistic endeavor, transcending mere administrative action. An effective CEO understands not just whom to eliminate, but how to execute it without leaving room for retaliation. Regarding Kira Jennings, I sought absolute finality. No emotional displays, no confrontations, no resentful glances. The execution needed to be clinical, decisive, and untraceable. Wednesday morning found me entering a modest conference room on the 20th floor. Present were only myself, Marjorie Thompson from HR, Denise, our legal counsel, and Kira. Kira sat opposite me, her demeanor betraying no apprehension. I relished this moment, when the target still maintained an illusion of security, still believed in their position, while their fate had long been sealed. Kira, we need to address something, I began, maintaining calculated composure. Marjorie extended a manila envelope across the conference table. The contents were standard protocol: a formal termination notice, a detailed severance compensation breakdown, documentation outlining transitional benefits, covering quarterly health insurance and career transition support services. Kira's gaze shifted between the envelope and my face. A momentary flash of realization crossed her features before she masterfully regained her professional composure. Admirable, though ultimately inconsequential. You're terminating my employment? Kira inquired, her voice remarkably controlled. The organization is undergoing restructuring, Marjorie stated, delivering our rehearsed narrative. We're consolidating research operations with product development. Your position has become redundant in this new structure. I maintained my silence, studying her reactions. Would she display outrage? Resort to desperate appeals? Break down? Instead, Kira exhibited remarkable poise, acknowledging with a slight nod. I comprehend the situation. I suppressed an amused reaction. Her comprehension was superficial. This wasn't merely organizational streamlining. This was strategic elimination, neutralizing a potential threat before it could escalate. Kira lifted the envelope, rotating it thoughtfully without breaking the seal. Her direct gaze held an unsettling quality. When did this decision materialize? She questioned softly. I responded with a subtle head tilt and dismissive gesture. Kira, such organizational decisions follow established protocols. Terminations aren't spontaneous occurrences. Indeed. I presume this was determined before my patent discovery, correct? The atmosphere tensed perceptibly. Denise glanced in my direction, awaiting my response. I refused to relinquish control. Leaning forward, I positioned my elbows on the table, fingers interlocked, regarding her with clinical detachment. I fail to see any correlation between these matters, Kira, I responded, my tone measured but pointed. What precisely are you suggesting? Kira maintained her scrutinizing gaze, heavy with doubt. Yet she remained silent. She remained oblivious to how extensively I'd anticipated her moves. Rising, I signaled the meeting's conclusion. Clear your workspace by Friday. Return your access credentials, computer, and all company property on your final day. The discussion was concluded. Game over. As Kira exited, I observed her departure. No tears. No rage. No pleas. She withdrew quietly, though undoubtedly processing numerous uncertainties. I addressed Marjorie. Her composure seems unusual, I remarked. Marjorie inclined her head. I had similar thoughts. Though perhaps she's maintaining appearances. I gazed at my reflection in the expansive conference room window, the image of a CEO who had executed an essential decision. Later that day, Marjorie's message appeared on my phone. Kira departed without engaging anyone. Some workplace chatter ensued, but nothing significant. Everything proceeded as intended. I felt satisfied. Dismissing someone of Kira's caliber required finesse. Mismanagement could trigger unwanted consequences. But my execution had been flawless. No pushback. No interrogation. In my office, I lifted my wine glass, relishing the moment of triumph. Kira Jennings was done. She might have considered herself indispensable, but ultimately, she was merely another piece in my strategic game. I had removed her, and TechVantage would flourish in her absence. At least, that was my conviction at the time. Monday arrived, seemingly ordinary. I occupied my office chair, an aromatic espresso positioned before me, sunlight cascading through TechVantage's windows on the 40th floor. Everything appeared perfect. I remained at the helm of a billion-dollar enterprise. I maintained my position of victory. Or so I believed. My email inbox revealed a subject line that seized my attention. Precision Systems announces exclusive ownership of data processing algorithm. I momentarily stilled, absorbing the content. Each line intensified my growing unease. Kira Jennings. Her name appeared prominently, not as a former employee, but as technology expert, founder of the breakthrough algorithm, and its legal patent holder. I closed my eyes, drawing a deep breath. No. The conference room brimmed with tension. Marjorie, Denise, and every executive board member sat mutely, anticipating the impending crisis. I surveyed the room, my voice glacial. Would someone care to explain this situation? Silence pervaded. My palm struck the table forcefully. Kira Jennings possesses the patent. She owns the algorithm. We've lost all control. Do you comprehend the implications? Denise cleared her throat, examining the documentation before her. Marcella, we face a critical situation. My investigation reveals that Kira submitted the patent application last month, immediately before her termination. She maintains complete documentation proving algorithm enhancements were developed during personal time, using private resources, falling outside her TechVantage employment agreement. This means... I fixed her with a penetrating stare. What exactly does it mean, Denise? Denise swallowed visibly. That means Precision Systems has acquired exclusive rights to the technology we've been utilizing. Fury coursed through my veins like liquid fire. Is legal action an option? I clenched my jaw. Denise's head moved in negation. We lack legal standing. Her actions were entirely within bounds. Litigation could prove detrimental, potentially resulting in greater losses. I remained motionless. This had been her strategy all along. I had failed to recognize Kira Jennings' true capabilities. The office entrance flew open. Our CFO burst in, his complexion ashen. Marcella, this demands your immediate attention. My eyes darted to my desktop display. TechVantage's market value was in free fall, 7% decrease within the first half hour of market opening. My fingers dug into my chair's armrests. This enterprise represented 15 years of my dedication. I refused to watch it disintegrate because of some 55-year-old executive I dismissed from my organization. I addressed Marjorie. Contact Kira Jennings. I need to speak with her. Immediately. I examined my phone display. Outgoing calls, 3. Responses, 0. Being disregarded was unfamiliar territory. I commanded attention. I was Marcella Lawson. Yet Kira Jennings had blocked all communication. Marjorie's message appeared. She insists all communication must proceed through Precision Systems' legal representatives. Direct negotiations are not an option. I hurled my phone onto the desk surface. A notification chimed, new correspondence from Precision Systems. Request for negotiation regarding AccountFear algorithm licensing. I reviewed the message contents. To maintain algorithm access, TechVantage must submit licensing payments, triple the market rate. Issue public recognition of Kira Jennings as the algorithm's legitimate inventor. Accept Precision Systems' authority to terminate licensing at will. Blood pounded in my temples. Kira Jennings had orchestrated our complete entrapment. Refusing payment meant losing algorithm access. Our entire product line would cease functioning. Accepting terms meant publicly acknowledging my greatest strategic error, terminating the one individual crucial to our success. I launched from my seat, palms striking the desk surface. No. Damn. Way. Marjorie spoke softly. Marcella, alternatives don't exist. Noncompliance means complete erosion of investor confidence. I stormed out of the conference room, my rage still simmering beneath the surface. The employees scattered glances my way. The news had spread like wildfire. They sensed the foundation of my empire crumbling. Another notification from Marjorie flashed across my screen. Word is circulating about a confidential board meeting. They're contemplating your replacement. My grip tightened around my phone. Absolutely not. I was TechVantage. This company bore my signature. I was irreplaceable. But then, Kira's expression during her termination meeting last week flashed through my mind. The look of someone who had anticipated this outcome. I had believed in my victory. But now, I realized I had committed an irreversible error. And the most terrifying part? The full extent of the damage remained unseen. Tuesday. I stepped into the office unusually early. An unsettling quiet permeated the building, distinctly different from the typical morning energy. Staff members hurried past, their eyes downcast. The same individuals who once showered me with excessive praise and artificial smiles now deliberately avoided any interaction. The rumors had spread. I marched into my office, slammed the door with force, and retrieved my phone. TechVantage shares had plummeted another 12% during the night. A devastating 19% decline within just 48 hours. My stomach churned violently. This had escalated from a mere setback to an outright disaster. A message from my CFO lit up my screen. Our primary clients are contemplating a switch to precision systems. I gritted my teeth. Kira Jennings hadn't just outmaneuvered me legally, she was systematically dismantling my client base. And the most infuriating part? I stood powerless to intervene. The conference room buzzed with tension. Every senior executive was present, yet their gazes remained fixed elsewhere. Report, I commanded, maintaining a facade of control. Denise pushed a document forward. Precision Systems has acquired 2 additional client contracts. Our market position is deteriorating rapidly. I scanned the document. Each entry felt like a personal assault. Reason for client departure: no longer authorized to use the account sphere algorithm. A voice pierced the silence. Marcella, we must open negotiations with Precision Systems. I raised my head. Every eye in the room focused on me, awaiting my response. I could sense the loyalty shifting within my own team. These once devoted followers now questioned my judgment. My fists tightened. No. Negotiation isn't an option. Dead silence. I noticed my CFO's subtle eye roll, Denise's tightly pressed lips concealing unspoken words. Their faith in me had evaporated. My phone buzzed. A message from Precision Systems appeared. Subject: Licensing and Intellectual Property Notice. I opened it. A formal, unmistakably calculated statement. TechVantage has forfeited all rights to the AccountSphere algorithm. All entities utilizing AccountSphere must immediately secure licensing agreements with Precision Systems. Legal action will be taken against any infringement under federal intellectual property statutes. My fingers clenched around my phone. Kira Jennings had orchestrated my downfall. I could visualize her now, settled in her pristine Precision Systems office, savoring her morning coffee, reviewing reports of TechVantage's disintegration with barely concealed satisfaction. She had masterfully reversed the game, leaving me without recourse. I access CNBC. TechVantage shares in free fall. Board convenes emergency session. Market analysts were merciless in their critique. Marcella Lawson failed to recognize the expertise within her organization and now faces the consequences. My jaw tightened reflexively. I had become their entertainment. Once celebrated as tech's most influential female CEO, I now found myself reduced to a cautionary tale, mocked across national media outlets. My phone vibrated. Marjorie's message appeared. Marcella, Board meeting scheduled for 4 p.m. The outlook is grim. I place my phone down and shut my eyes. The inevitable approached. The boardroom air was thick with tension as I entered. No welcomes, no acknowledgments. This wasn't a meeting, it was a calculated execution. Richard Donovan, board chairman, rose from his seat. Marcella, we've evaluated the company's position. We've reached our verdict. I maintained my defensive posture, arms crossed. And that is? Richard's expression remained impassive, calculating, and cold, preparing to deliver the final strike. The vote is unanimous. TechVantage requires new leadership. Your resignation is effective immediately. The air left my lungs. I, the architect of this empire, was being ousted by my own board. My voice emerged razor-sharp. If I refuse? Richard's response was emotionless. Then we'll enforce removal through shareholder action. I felt my carefully constructed world dissolving around me. I cleared my office. 15 years of empire building, 15 years of dominance, obliterated in days. Through the glass windows, San Francisco's skyline remained unchanged, indifferent. The world had no patience for fallen CEOs. Life continued its course, simply without my influence. A final phone notification. From Kira Jennings. Checkmate, Marcella. Perhaps now you understand. I read it once, then deleted it. Understanding wasn't my takeaway. I remained Marcella Lawson. And regardless of today's devastating fall, I would rise again. Because women like me never stay defeated. From my luxury penthouse, I gazed down at San Francisco's luminous landscape. The streets pulsed with traffic, towering buildings pierced the sky, and countless lives continued their rhythm undisturbed. Not one soul paused to mourn a dethroned CEO. I lifted my wine glass, but the vintage had lost its usual allure. Everything had slipped through my fingers. TechVantage, my creation, belonged to others now. Those who once revered me, who sought my approval, now viewed me as a cautionary tale. The board had expelled me from the empire I'd built from scratch. The media feasted on my downfall, painting it as justice served. But what exactly is justice? My actions were justified. I simply did what leadership demanded. Rising, I approached the vast windows, studying my reflection. There stood Marcella Lawson, a woman who refused to accept defeat. They believed I was finished. How wrong they were. For 3 months, I'd observed silently. None suspected I monitored every move between TechVantage and Precision Systems. I maintained radio silence, avoiding press and publicity. Yet I remained vigilant. Recent headlines revealed, Precision Systems is launching an enhanced account sphere. They truly believe they've won? How naive. My years in tech have taught me that success is never permanent. I reached for my phone, dialing a trusted connection. Schedule a meeting. Scanning the latest Bloomberg report, I allowed myself a subtle smirk. Precision Systems faces legal challenge over algorithm copyright issues. I had anticipated this, because I orchestrated it from the shadows. Precision Systems had grown complacent in their triumph. They assumed Kira Jennings' algorithm guaranteed their supremacy. They overlooked one crucial fact. They'd never truly confronted me. I entered my new headquarters, the launching pad for my comeback. A fresh startup, meticulously planned, staffed with top talent recruited from my rivals. Precision Systems had Kira Jennings? Perfect. I would create an enterprise to destroy them. TechVantage was merely a chapter. All I required was vengeance. This time, history wouldn't repeat itself. I don't accept failure as final. I refuse to vanish quietly. I am Marcella Lawson, and my return will shake their foundations. Have you experienced the sting of betrayal from those closest to you? Have you watched something you built with unwavering dedication slip from your grasp? I have. Yet I refused to shed tears. I wouldn't plead. I remained unbroken. Because for me, defeat is merely temporary. True strength lies not in avoiding falls, but in the resilience to stand again after each setback. Here's what I've learned. Never dismiss your adversary's potential. I underestimated Kira Jennings, viewing her as insignificant. She proved me wrong. But real influence transcends positions. Losing my CEO title doesn't diminish my capacity to rebuild. Every defeat presents an opportunity for redemption. Precision Systems celebrates prematurely. They failed to realize this battle continues. Has betrayal touched your professional or personal life? Did you emerge stronger as I did? Share your story below. Marcella Lawson's journey continues. Want to witness her next move? Follow, share, and stay connected to catch the upcoming installment.